Hey, how you doing? It's me, San Martin, on this special report coming to you from the Prescott eNews humble abode. You walk in, this is the humble abode. But anyways, we have in the house, as of right now, the president of Yavapai GOP.
Yeah, the chair.
The chair.
Chairwoman.
Okay. Chairwoman.
Yes.
Well, I like giving people some honor roll, names and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Doing this thing last minute, I didn't find too much about you, but as much as I've known about you, you've been in a huge, responsibility in a part of these things that you do. So we're going to get into that right now. And as you guys all know that we are doing these podcasts and they all are shown on Prescott eNews. We actually post them every Saturday and Sunday. And as if you guys are looking right now, this is live. So anyways, any questions, ask them, and we'll have our production and our extraordinaire captain, Lynn the Master, ask us those questions when we're in the back. So anyways, let's go ahead and start off about who you are and what you do.
Well, currently, I'm the Yavapai GOP chairwoman, and that takes on a whole different meaning for me. There's a lot of things that we're looking at doing, and this year we're looking at unity for the Republican Party. We want to stop all the dissension that's been going on for a long time. So we feel that by uniting and standing together, we're going to do a lot better.
That is the best thing I've heard in a long time. In most cases, I tell Lynn that I'm not political, but I read and I watch a lot of political stuff. And so I tend to stay away from it because, of a little bit of separation of ideas and thoughts and stuff. So how do you plan on actually bringing that together? I mean, as a whole?
Well, if you look at the demographics of Prescott and Prescott Valley, actually the Quad City, it's growing tremendously. And the Republican Party in the past is not a Republican Party that can last if we don't really get active and bring in the younger folks and get just a little bit more active and being seen throughout the community.
Yeah.
So the plan is to really develop a very strong precinct committeeman organization. And currently, that's what we're working on. We have 544 seats that are available to us, and that's based on voter registration of Republicans. So we want to do a very good job and get great people out there that can really involve the communities.
So the chair that you sit on right now, how long has it been a part of this community?
Oh, forever. I've never really researched it, but it goes back a long, long time.
Yeah. And with that being said, I mean, the things that you guys have coming up, as another reason why you're here on our live, especially events thing, you are bringing together some people for, is it March 20th?
Yes. We're having what turned into be our Lincoln-Reagan Day Dinner. Originally, it just started out to be an event. And basically, we had the opportunity of bringing Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie here that in their recent book, Trump's Enemies, they're coming to Prescott. And that's just, once in a lifetime opportunity when you can actually grab these folks that are out there coming to Phoenix for one reason or another and entice them to come up to Prescott and be with us.
For some of the people that are out there, me being one of them, I actually did a little bit of research on your two special guests. Can you go ahead and explain to the followers and readers who these two individuals are?
Well, basically, they're political activists and commentators, and they, for instance, Corey Lewandowski was best known for being on the Trump's 2016 campaign, as well as David Bossie. So
they were in the mix.
Yeah, they were. They were in there.
They were in the mix. I know this was postponed from in February. What was the reason for that?
Well, it was the Democrats that changed the date, or as I understand it, Nancy Pelosi allowed President Trump to present the State of the Union address
on the same date,
on February 5th, which was the date that Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie were to be here with us. And because they were called to Washington, or they needed to be in Washington for the event, we were canceled.
Yeah, I hear you. With this event, how many people are you expected to be in attendance?
Well, right now we're targeting for about 250 folks. Right now we're getting there. We're pretty close. So anything above 250 would be wonderful.
I read just a little bit more on some of your guests that are going to be in attendance. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on those guys?
Well, Congressman Paul Gosar will be there for sure. And he always has good news from Washington, or not necessarily good news from Washington, but news from Washington. So he'll be on hand. We had invited Dr. Kelly Ward, but she's got other engagements that she's going to be involved in. So basically, we've got a pretty full schedule with all the folks that are attending.
Yes, and is he going to talk a little bit more about his book that he's written, which is did they both write the book, right?
Yes, they both wrote the book, and we're very fortunate because with the ticket cost of $75, it is a fundraiser. so I know it seems a little pricey for Prescott, but all the money that we make goes right back to supporting the Yavapai GOP in many different ways. So they will be doing a book signing. We're thrilled about that. We have 200 books that will be given away to the first 200 folks that purchase tickets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you actually do get something out of this besides food?
Yeah.
No, I think education is the number one key, and I think that's what your obligation is as far as doing what you guys are doing. So the to go back just a little bit about how you are wanting to go ahead and bring people together. What does that mean? I mean, in general, being a Republican and going out there and doing Republican things, what does it mean to bring them together?
Well,
what is the separation? I guess I'm trying to get at.
Obviously, there's differences in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. But within the Republican Party, we're just like anybody. We're like a big family, and within a big family, you have little squabbles or things you don't necessarily agree upon.
No, not little family squabbles.
But basically, I think most of us can agree on the Republican platform, what they believe in, and certainly with certain things that are happening. Like the Green Initiative, the recent Green Initiative regarding cows and airplanes and all the different things that means. And we could get into a lot of laughter around cows.
Yeah. There's in most cases, when you sit back and obviously when you start growing up a little bit more in life, as for me, watching all this stuff happen and just evolved during all of my life, it's just so hard to get involved with politics on my behalf. People are like, Martin, you should run for mayor, and I'm like, no, there's no way I would run for mayor. And there's one reason why, is because they're going to ask me about my past, and I would have to be honest with them. I'm like, yeah, I did all those crazy things, now here I go. So the thing that I actually kind of like almost step in on the same things is the relationship value of people that are on the same platform. So back in the days, I don't call it a gang, but it was a group of friends that we all hung out with each other. We all took care of each other. We always watch each other's back. So I assume that, the Republican Party's like that, but acknowledging that they're not, and you saying that you want to bring them together and then, get the younger children involved, that's a huge deal, like a big deal. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, that's a big task, and basically it's going to start with developing our precinct committeemen. We call them PCs, developing them and educating them along the lines of the Republican platform. What does it mean to be a Republican? as you see, and some of the things that have happened in the past have been very hurtful to the Republicans. For instance, the fact that we didn't do anything along regards to health care, that was voted down with one vote. That was very sad to see that happen. And hopefully we can do a better job in our politicians and choosing our politicians and vetting our politicians, that they really do stand for what the Republican platform's all about. That's
awesome. I mean, you guys get so involved. That's the ticket right there. When you say you guys are all a community, that you all have to be on the same page. The same page is the same page, and if nobody's on the same page, then it becomes an issue. So I feel for you, because I'm all, in some cases, it's not really in political lifestyle, but just to go ahead and get somebody to say, hey, where we want to eat,
Oh yeah.
That is the worst sometimes. And so I'll be like, where do you want to eat? Wherever you want to eat. Okay, then you pick the place, and it's like, that's not where I want to eat.
I know.
Is it almost as simple as that?
It really is. It's really funny because you have a vision for what you want to accomplish, and you're kind of up in the clouds, and you're thinking along those lines. And then somebody else is looking at punctuation on a letter that was just written. In my head, I can't quite put my head around. I'm worried about the punctuation on a letter versus the vision for the future. So there are challenges. And
that's a huge one right there. Yeah. I'd be like, oh my gosh, but you got the point, right? You got that point. So when we were talking with each other before we started the podcast, there was one question that we definitely wanted to ask, and talking about some of the guests that you have actually brought to these events. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Well, we've had a good time. Let me tell you. I just so you know, I was president of Republican Women of Prescott,
which I heard is the biggest.
Yeah, it's fairly large. It is the largest in the nation.
What is the
membership is 700 plus, and that includes the associate members. So typically it's 500 plus the associates, which are around 200. So
wow,
give or take a few people at any one given time.
That is huge.
But yes, I'd worked with a number of ladies in the Republican Women, and through that we brought Chris Peranto. You'll remember Chris, and I'll always remember Chris because of Benghazi. I mean, that is still a very sore point with me, that our government has not got it, and been able to get to the what really happened. Who said stand down? I would love to know that.
Yeah.
To this day. But along with that, we've brought Dinesh D'Souza. We brought Judge Janine. She was
some big
awesome.
Names going on, huh?
Yeah, she was awesome. And we continue to do that with, of course, Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie. So, and I'm working on some other things with AZFRW for the state convention. I'm working on bringing the gentleman that founded Walk Away, and that his name is Brandon Stroka. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but we're working on bringing him here to the state convention, and it's always a challenge. And as you know, Rona McDaniel is the Republican National Committee person, so we're trying to bring her also to the state convention. That's outside of the Yavapai GOP, though. That's the if you will, the Federation for the Republican Women. That's the AZFRW.
Oh, okay.
Part of that, yeah.
So, when you put these events together, what does it take? I mean, does it take a whole committee, or are you on the phone? You're like, hey, what's up, Corey? How you doing today?
Well, first of all, I think the hardest part is always getting the seats filled. That is always the hardest part, and it is kind of like they say, herding kittens.
Yes.
There's a million different little things you need to do. You need to make sure they're done correctly.
Yeah.
And that's when somebody is looking at the big vision and somebody else is looking at the punctuation. They're all important, but people's heads are in different places.
That is so funny. I do a lot of events and stuff, and one of the things is like, you know what? As long as I'm there and I'm enjoying myself, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a cost of the entertainment cost. So ultimately, that has to be taken care of. But with 500, 700 women that are in the what was it?
Well, that's the RWAP.
Yeah, the RWAP.
The Republican Women of Prescott.
You might be able to tap into that email list.
Well, they do cooperate very fully with us, and that's the one of the beauty parts of being a Republican. We've got great memberships. We've got the Men's Forum. We've got the Republican Women of Prescott. We've got the Mingus Mountain Group, and we have the Yavapai County Republican Women. So we can tap into a lot of different resources, and our message goes out to a lot of different
Seems
folks.
Like it.
Yeah,
it seems like it. That is awesome. So if there's anything that you want to go ahead and get out there to the people on Prescott eNews, what would be it?
Well, basically, this is a fundraiser that's coming up. Obviously, to run the Republican Party in Yavapai County, it's an awesome responsibility. Fundraising is number one. We have to run the funds or raise the funds to run the office. We're one of 3 offices in the whole state of Arizona, and we man that with volunteers and with paid staff. So it's important that we keep the lights on, that we pay the bills, that we have good staff at the Republican headquarters. We're growing. We know that. We want to reach a lot of folks, and we think we're on the way to do that.
That's awesome. And earlier you were talking about how you want to get the younger population involved. How do you plan on doing that part?
Well, right now there's a lot of work going on in the universities, and one of the names that I did not mention was the Turning Point USA. Let's see, what's her name? How could I forget her name? She is just a delight. But anyway, we're trying to get her to some of the state functions that we're going to be having. And with that, that's always an opportunity for Prescott, for the Yavapai GOP to bring them to Prescott. So names like Ben Shapiro. I mean, there are so many people that are out working the younger folks. This Walk Away, the Brandon Strzok, I believe is his last name. They realize that the Democratic Party has not answered their needs, that they've been fooled into believing something that's not real. And they are starting to question, and really question thoroughly. Look at CPAC. Did you see who attended CPAC this weekend?
I did not.
Oh my gosh. It's so exciting when you see the young folks standing up and being counted for. And they're going out there and they're questioning. Finally, we're getting people that are questioning the universities, what they're doing, how they fund the universities. So hopefully we'll see change.
Yeah, and I mean, ever since the social networking has come out, a lot of people are getting more open to a lot of things. They're just like, wait, what you're trying to say is this happened? So I really do think because of the new era of technology and being able to get the word out, and people getting caught on lies and people getting caught on things that they have said that they did or they were going to do, and they're going backwards with it. It's causing a whirlwind of, hey, we need to start checking some major facts going.
I welcome that. I know everybody welcomes that. We're so tired of the non-news and tear somebody down instead of building them up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good in the Democratic Party, but there's a heck of a lot more good in the Republican Party. So it's just how we build on each other.
Yeah, and me, I'm like, can we just take care of humanity in general without nobody's political thoughts? But in an age of life that we don't have to worry about stuff that could probably happen.
You're right. I mean, humanity is very important, but I'm kind of one of these that I like to focus on what is really going on with our own folks before we bring in the whole country. I mean, the whole world.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of focus on folks that are very needy within the United States. And I think if we look at what Trump's doing and what, the jobs he's created, the educational opportunities he's created, it's endless. It goes on and on and on. So America first, I think, is the way that we go. If we're strong, then we can lend an even bigger hand to those outside of the U.S.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that. And once again, I love what people do and what they're trying to do for our communities, and to see everybody unite and just be a part of that is the best thing that I could ever hope for. I mean, just in my case.
Hey, you sound like you need to be in the Republican Party.
I sound like I need to be in a lot of places, but I mean, I tell you what, my life in general is it's one of those simple lives that thinks a little bit outside of a box that we've been put into, and I could elaborate a little bit more on that, but like in all cases, like I just wish that we could all live together as one.
Okay.
All right. So one more time, let's go ahead and talk about the event that's going to be happening on March 22nd or 20th.
Oh no, March 20th at
March
5:30. We start with cocktails. That's a fun thing.
Yes.
And then 6:30 is dinner, and then we have actually some really neat auction items. We'll this is going to be fun because my husband and I have offered for the auction a dinner for 6 at our home where we will host, and we're hoping that brings in lots of money. Now,
that should be fun.
when was the last time you had flambe steak Diane? Tell me, when was the last time you had that? Well, my husband and I are going to do that. So we expect...
I just want to try because I'd never heard of it. I'm so sorry. I've never heard of it, but it sounds great.
Well, it's fun to make, and it's even more fun when you light the match to the...
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And we do have... I just was reminded, we have 2 tickets to give away. So you should call in.
We'll probably end up posting it on the event that was created for the March 20th event, so we could go in there, and because I've actually it's kind of crazy because I actually took an Uber one day, and this guy was talking about the whole thing, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I can't wait to go to this event."
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was just and he watches the news here, and I mean,
well, it's a small world.
It is a small world, but we actually captured it all on one page. So if anybody needs to get the word out, Prescott eNews is definitely going to do it for you. So we have a ticket, 2 tickets to give away for this event on March 20th. We'll do that online for you guys that are interested into this event. What time does it start?
It starts at 5:30. The cocktail hour starts at 5:30, and the dinner's at 6:30.
And where is it located?
It's at the Prescott Resort.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a nice spot. That is a nice spot. And who is hosting it?
The Yavapai GOP is hosting the Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie for the Lincoln-Reagan Day Dinner.
And where can they get the tickets?
Tickets you can call Yavapai GOP. And
go to Yavapai, YAVGOP at org.
.org.
.org.
And you can stop by the Union Street Republican headquarters and also pick up tickets.
Which is right downtown.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's right across the street from the courthouse.
Okay, excellent. And once again, your name and what you are wanting to get the word out to some Republican folks that are out there, if they need to join or if they want to go ahead and reach out.
Isn't that wonderful? Yes. I'm Donna Tanzi. I'm the Yavapai GOP chair. I invite all Republicans to come to our headquarters, check us out. Look at becoming a precinct committeeman or seeing just tell us what your talents are. I mean, we need photographers. We need a parliamentarian. We need a few specialized committee chairs that haven't been filled yet. So we look forward to meeting you, to seeing you at the dinner, and having more conversation regarding how to keep America great.
Nice. And that's going to go ahead and cut us off right now. And once again, don't forget to look at Prescott eNews and join their newsletter, because we have a lot of great information that happens every Friday to Saturday. And then podcasts are released Saturdays and Sundays. So thank you for tuning in on the special report. And thank you so very much for taking my questions.
Thank you, Martine.
Thank you.